All right, we're in the doll exhibit at the New Egypt Historical Museum.
Can you push that ball towards us? Rolling.
Hey, hello, and welcome to a bonus episode of Divination with Danny. Tonight we're going to be doing a deck review, which is why it's a bonus episode. But thank you to everybody who is tuned in tonight. I really do appreciate it. I know this isn't my normal schedule, but hold on one second. So right before the video is all cut, I took a sip of tea. And apparently I thought it was a good idea to breathe while I was also drinking. And I had an entire coughing fit. And I wasn't even sure if it was going to end before the video ended. Apparently I'm still a little messed up from it. But anyway, thank you everyone for being here. And just like that last clip showed, December 28th, Get Haunted has their last event of the season at New Egypt Historical Museum. Please make sure you go check that out. It is an amazing location. It's a museum, right? So lots of different objects in there with a lot of their own energy. We've had several events there so far and absolutely amazing time, regardless of anything. It's an amazing time, but place doesn't disappoint either. And heated, so not going to freeze your butt off. So I don't know. I think it's worth trying, right? Go to extremeticketing.com. Look for the Get Haunted event and purchase those tickets. And I will see you there because I'm absolutely going. Sandy and myself will be there. Before I say hello to all of you on the side, hey, if anyone has anything they want to plug or anything, please feel free to throw it on the side if you have links or anything going on up until the end of the year. I feel like everyone's such in a rush, right, with the holidays, so it's hard to jump online and look at the listings for things all the time. So if you have something going on, please throw it on the side so that everyone that's watching can see it. But before I say hello to everybody, let's do our brought to you by. So tonight's show is brought to you by the Judgment card. So this is one of those cards where it's really one of those just it's like a call to change your life. It's rebirth. It is heeding the call of life. It is letting your old self go to make room for the new. Keywords for this would be, rebirth, revelation, a calling, self-development. It's this beautiful energy of just heeding that call, heeding your intuition, letting go, just letting all of the things that no longer serve you, let them fall away and rise up to this new beautiful energy in your life. So, I know I don't always read reversals, right? But if you wanted to do a shadow side of this would be dragging your feet or not heeding your call or overthinking or just in some form or some way holding yourself back. So when you look at this, some people, it's funny because I've had readings with people in the past and they pulled this card and I was so excited for them to have pulled this card. But when they looked at it, they were like, I don't know, there are people in coffins and they look gray and they just, it reminded the last person that I did a reading and I pulled this for, it reminded them of zombies. And it made me laugh a little bit, but for them, the fact that it made it seem like zombies, I ended up asking them, what is it that you keep mulling over? What is it that is holding you back? And then we had a whole other discussion where we figured out what it was that they just needed to let go so that they could move on to that new aspect of their life on their journey. And so it ended up being a really good reading, not to give any information because all my readings, if I do a private reading with someone, that information stays private. I just figured that's one little tidbit and I didn't give you any information beyond that. But yeah, just rising to the call, rising to a new level, letting go. So if you see this in a reading, this is an amazing sign that, it's time to level up. And if everything else around it is kind of icky, you have to ask yourself, what am I holding my back? What am I holding myself back with? Where do I need to let go? So either way, this card can be used in a positive way, regardless, if it's the shadow side of it or not. It's all about perspective, right? So tonight is brought to us by the Judgment card. All right, guys, let's say hello to who is here. real quick before I jump into our card. I'm so excited. This deck has become one of my favorite decks of all time. Before I jump into that, let's say hello. Stacy. Hello, Stacy. I love when he's first. That just makes my entire night. Hey, Mark. Thank you so much for tuning in, man. You have no idea how much I appreciate that. Thank you, Mark. Hello. And I was in there. I popped in there earlier. Trying to get all, I am not great with technology, so I was just trying to make sure I had everything up to speed. Damien, hello, and good morning to you, dear sir. Hope everything is going good. Sarah Jane, I love you, Sarah. Hi, thank you for tuning in. Oh my gosh, that just made my night. Yes, Lady S. I love that Damien calls her Lady S. That is such a very powerful, I like it. I love it. Sandy, my love, hello. Hopefully everything is going good. Give extra squeezes to Charlotte for me. Okay, is that everybody? Oh, what is this? Would you do a live card pull in New Egypt for someone? See if site can. You know what? Let's remind me. So the 28th, the event starts around 7. So if you can remember to remind me, because if I don't remember, I would love to do that, Damien. So let's try to figure that out. We can totally do that. I'll be there. So let's do it. I agree. Yeah, Sandy's going to be there with me. So hopefully between the two of us, we can remember to try to figure that out. That'd be amazing. Big Daddy Andy, what's up, man? Hello. Thank you for tuning in. Let's see. We have Laura. Hello. Hello. Is that Marie? Hello. Hi. So tonight's deck. Hello. So tonight's deck that we're going to be doing the review on. Let me bring it up. I have it. Uh-oh. What did I do? Okay. Like I said, technology and I are not friends today. I messed my phone up, everything today. Tonight's deck review is going to be Earth Woman Tarot. And this is such a beautiful deck. Let's see. I actually have some slides. Let me bring up some slides. You can see it a little bit easier. I know my lighting, I'm still trying to work out my lighting situation. But this is such a beautiful deck. Amazing artwork, especially for those. So like for me, I've been on this little bit of a journey to reconnect with my divine feminine. I don't know why I can't talk tonight. Bear with me, guys. And just trying to reconnect with Mother Earth, like the whole feminine side of life, the gentle, less regimented, the side of everybody that just flows with everything. And I feel like for some reason, this deck really called to me when I was going into that. So I got it, and it is not disappointed. It is gorgeous with the artwork. And it's not a feminist deck. You'll see. We're going to go through this. And the deck itself, size-wise, is just about the same size as a normal tarot deck, right? So you can see I have my original tarot, which is like when they would say regular size tarot deck, that original tarot 1909, that's your general sized tarot deck. The casing for Earth Woman Tarot is big, but the cards themselves are just about the same size as your average tarot deck. And you'll see when I open it up. So the thing with these cards though, right? Oh, hold on. No, you can't. Hi, Patrick. Nice to see you on here. You can't go wrong with Mother Nature. No, you can't, because I mean, it's part of all of us too. We are a part of the entire cycle. And I feel like a lot of times humanity forgets that, right? Like humans forget that we're a part of an entire cycle, we're part of everything. So with this deck, the thing with this, the cards here, hold on. Let me bring this down real quick. Let me just show you real quick. So this is a cute little, the top slides right off, right? It's a strong cardboard. You can throw this right in your bag. So nice. I can toss this in my purse or my book bag, head on out the door, and I have no worries about this deck being destroyed at all. It's a nice hard cardboard casing. It is cardboard, but very sturdy. And then it comes with, your little advertisement cards that you don't need. And then it has this little booklet, which no pictures in the booklet, right? No big deal. I don't necessarily use the booklet, but for those of you who do, if you appreciate there being pictures in it, this one does not. However, all the information is basically the same as other booklets. It's informative. I never suggest throwing out your booklet, especially for those who are beginning. It does come with a, and it's pretty thick, right? Pretty thick booklet. All of the artwork, the quality of this deck. Oh my God. Guys, the quality of this deck is amazing. The cards, I don't know if you can see, like, there's a thickness to these cards. And I think that's such a beautiful artwork. And this is nice. So people who do read reversals, that's the one thing that's nice about the artwork on the backs of these cards is it's, regardless of what way the card is setting, you're never going to know if it's reversed or not until you flip it over. So for those of you who do read reversals, you don't have to worry about, you know, the card stock on the front of the card being an issue. I don't know if you can hear this. Can you hear? They're a little bit like, I want to call them powdery, right? They're not glossy by any means. I don't know if you can see, they're not glossy, right? There's no gloss, but they slide like there's powder, and they're not. They feel clean. They feel real clean. They slide really nice against each other. So I don't know what this finish is called, but so easy to shuffle, so easy to just like slide them out. Nothing sticks to one another. You don't have to worry about, like, you know, when you're shuffling, it slides real nice. Oh, look, we had a couple pop out. It slides really nice. Artwork's gorgeous. So the reason I brought this out, they're pretty thick. Like, I don't know if you can see, like, let me bring that photo back up. Our photo to the left is our Earthwoman Tarot deck. Very thick card stock, right? I'm going to start this really quick. Stacey, I see you, man. I'm giving you a card reading. So, amazing card stock. They're thick cards, though. So, if anyone has an issue with thicker cards, they're sturdy. They're not whimsy. Like, they don't bend real easily. They're thick. So the cards on the left are our Earthwoman Tarot. The cards to the right, those are my traditional 1909 tarot deck. That's the deck that I always use. You can see the difference. You can see the thickness of the Earthwoman Tarot versus the thinness of my regular deck. It's immense. It looks like there could be 2 extra decks in there for my regular tarot deck. And I can tell the difference when I'm shuffling. I actually prefer shuffling this deck way better. So I see Beth. Hello. How are you? Thank you for joining us tonight. They move so easily, Patrick. It's amazing. And it's weird because the card, like the holder, the casing, holder. Yes, because I can talk. The casing looks huge, right? But when you open up, I think it's actually this next slide. Yes. So the cards themselves aren't that much bigger. They're a little bit wider. So for some people, if you have smaller hands, they might be a little bit harder to shuffle for you. They're a tad bit wider than a traditional deck. So to the left is our Earthwoman Tarot. To the right is my regular deck. And in the middle, I had put my regular card on top of the Earthwoman Tarot just to show you, like, there's a little bit, it's just a tiny, tiny bit wider than a normal deck, which I'm not gonna lie, I did have to get used to that when I was handling them, but it was an easy getting used to, just how nice they glide, how nice they feel. And when I was saying, like, powdery, they don't feel. So for those of you who have texture issues, because I do, like, I have this weird thing with textures, certain textures I just do not appreciate. And so powdery can sometimes be, these aren't. They're smooth. They don't have that grittiness. They slide real nice. So I don't think that I would have any warnings as far as texture with them. Just they glide. They aren't shiny though. So for those of you who like a gloss finish, these do not have the gloss finish, but I think that is beneficial because, like, with that, whatever lighting that you're in, you can see, like, you can read them easily regardless. Yes. Yeah. Quality on these are amazing. Let me see. I think, was that the last slide? No. Okay. So then from there, I figured we would just go through. I was going to show you the artwork for each of the suits, right? For the wands, the pentacles, the swords, the cups, because let me tell you, the one major plus that I have, like the major positive for these cards, the artwork. Oh my gosh, the artwork on these cards is phenomenal. And what I really appreciate about this deck is they're amazing art, right? Very creative, adventurous, but it does not stray from that Rider-Waite-Smith template. I think that's the right word. You can still read them just the same as you would a normal deck, which is really nice for beginners, for people who are just learning, who are just getting comfortable with that Rider-Waite-Smith deck, which is the traditional deck that people start with. This is a very easy transition, and they stay with the basic staples. The one thing that you'll see, and you'll see as we go through, the Rider-Waite-Smith is a little bit more simplistic so that the symbolism stands out a little bit more. With this, because the artwork is just so gorgeous, it's not a con though. You'll see, like it's very artsy, but at the same time still holds the meanings. And I think that was the last one for that one. So let's dive into what the suits look like versus what they look like against the Rider-Waite-Smith, because I feel like it's the only way to do this deck justice, right? Because this has definitely become one of my favorite decks. So bear with me here. And let's bring up, I think, yes, here we go. We're going to start with the wands, right? So as you can see, I think that's the only, let's bring it like this. Oh, I like that so much better. And you don't need that there. Okay. So the wands, right? Look at how gorgeous this is from the Ace to the 10 of Wands. And so there's a little bit of creative, like they weaved in their own creativity with the way they did the artwork on this deck. They're very colorful, Damien. They're extremely colorful, very easy to read. Just amazing. I appreciate it so much. And so because this is Earthwoman Tarot, a lot of the figures in here are going to be female. They're not all female, but the majority of them are. And I think this is why I was drawn to them when I was first getting into the divine feminine a little bit more. So as you can see with this side, this is from the Ace to the 5 of Wands. And I put, so to the left, you're going to see our Earthwoman Tarot. And then to the right, you're going to see the Rider-Waite-Smith. That's the traditional deck that most people start with when they're learning, right? So there's such similarities between them. But you can see like the Rider-Waite-Smith keeps it very simple because it's a lot of emphasis on the symbolism, right? They want to make sure that those symbols they're hitting home. But I feel like even with the creative liberties here, all of the symbolism is still there. Like I don't find it difficult. And actually there are some times, depending on how I feel for the reading, this deck's easier for me to read than the Rider-Waite-Smith. I have to do this real quick. Hi, Courtney. I love Courtney. She works her little butt off. So everybody say hello to Courtney. So you can see like from Ace to 5, the similarities versus like there's a lot that's still the same versus the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. You know what I mean? And then this is 6 to 10. And it's like the 8 of Wands, it still is the 8 of Wands. They just made it very flowery. Just all of the right symbolism still feels to be there. So there's no, I don't know how else to explain that. Like it's not hard to read these. So then we have the cups. And there's just beautiful imagery. And like with cups, right? Cups are your emotions. They're your intuition, your higher intelligence. This all comes into what your cups are. And I feel like this came through beautifully with the artwork. Like they put all that emotion, all of that self like connecting came in real beautifully with this artwork. Hopefully you guys can see all of these. Ooh, what is it? I love when Denise pops in. Hi, Denise. Reminiscent of some indigenous art with yes, right? I thought that too. More objective interpretation. Denise, thank you. But so Would you say deck? Okay, hold on. Let me pull this up real quick. Would you say deck energy is more feminine energy, reader directed over a male? So I feel like with this deck, if we're going to talk about female versus male energy, the energy of the deck itself does hold more of, I want to say divine feminine, because it's not that I would read it just for females, if that makes sense. So with this deck, and I think it's prevalent within the artwork of it within itself, it's not regimented the way the Rider-Waite Smith deck is. It's very like that deck's very regimented. Here's the symbolism, here's the like everything has a strict meaning. This artwork makes it very more fluid, right? So the fact that it's not as rigid, it flows. So in that aspect, it's definitely the energy is more for like of a female energy for the deck itself. But I feel like it still is an amazing deck to read, even for like, so if I would have a male client that came and was like, I want to have a card reading, and then this deck would still work because it flows real nicely. And sometimes you need a little bit more of a gentle energy for depending on who, it doesn't even matter. So I think the deck itself has more of an energy feel, female energy feel to it, but it doesn't deter me for reading for a dude at all. So if that makes any sense, hopefully I answered your question right. And then here we go with the cups. So you can see like the symbolism's really still there. It's just artfully put together. And I do appreciate sometimes with this deck, that artwork calls to me a little bit more than the Rider-Waite Smith deck does. It's just this nice, gentle flow that goes with it. So that is those two. Okay, thank you. I was hoping I answered that, if that made sense the way I answered it. The deck itself is just, I love the way it flows. So these are the swords. So for me, one of the big pluses for me with this, I'm going to be really honest. I don't necessarily love the sword suit because there's a lot of, when you look at the traditional ace to 10 with the swords, most of them look scary. And even when I was learning 2 of the different courses that I took for tarot, the instructors even said, like, when you're practicing your swords, do not read for yourself because the majority of the swords look super scary, or like they're very direct, because swords are not, they're like straight to the point. They do not sugarcoat anything. And I think that's what makes them so scary for everybody, is because there's no soft landing when it comes to the swords. They're just boom, this is what it is. This is what you need, or this isn't what you need to look at. So so this might actually be, this suit itself might actually be the reason that a lot of people get deterred from reading tarot at first. And this suit might actually be, this and the tarot and the tower were the reason that I actually put tarot decks down for a few years, because I was definitely in a bad situation and I knew it, and the cards knew it, and they were telling me every time I would pull a card, and I wasn't ready to face that for myself. So I was getting a lot of swords because I needed to change my thought process. I needed to look at things differently. I just needed a lot of, I needed that slap in the face, honesty. And the cards were giving it to me, but I wasn't ready for it. So there were a number of years there where I didn't touch tarot because I got so many swords in my readings. But I think that's a big thing for people. I don't think I'm the only one that's ever happened to. But with this deck, the artwork, they all still have the same meanings, but because there's more of that, like maybe that there's more of that energy of the feminine in this, they're a little bit gentler in the way they're presented. Like, yes, the images all still present the exact same information, but it isn't so, it's still in your face. I'm not going to say that it's not still direct, because swords are very direct, but it's a little bit more gentle. This is like the artwork is a little softer than it would be for the Rider-Waite Smith, and you're about to see what I mean. Reminds me of the Mystic Soul, which is not a deck I've ever seen. Thank you so much, because now I'm going to go check out that deck. Yeah, no, the cards do not lie ever. Even when you want them to, they won't. They're just like, no, this is what you need. So like as you can see, like the Ace of Swords is amazing, right? There's like this crown with this victory wreath on it, and it's coming out like it's slicing through the crap. It's like, here's some clarity for you. Boom, brand new, fresh energy, fresh mindset, fresh thoughts, maybe a little bit of adventure and travel in there as well. And that's apparent in both, right? Both the Woman Tarot and the Rider-Waite-Smith. Amazing, boom, there you go. That's exciting energy. But then you start like, see what I mean with the swords, right? I see. Hi, I see. So like right away, the two of swords is all about a crossroads and having to make a decision, and it's not going to be an easy one. And so your Rider-Waite-Smith, which is on the right there, it looks a little bit more intense than it does in the left, right? Like it's still the same card, it's still the same meaning, but the way the artwork is brought to you, like the sky, everything just about this is just a little bit more gentle. It's hammering home that same point, but it's not as terrifying. Even the Three of Swords, that chick's got swords going into her chest. That should be terrifying, but the artwork is just so beautiful. Like you can take in the entire meaning. And for me, when I read this deck, what's up, Danger? So, oh, hi, Crystal. Hello. Thank you for joining us. So, like anything with the swords, right? For this deck, for me, because the artwork is it's beautiful, right? That artwork is gorgeous. It's easier for me to look at the swords and be like, okay, what other cards are around it? Instead of getting stuck on the fact that, oh my gosh, I just pulled sword card, right? I gotta figure this out. So, for that reason alone, I would say that I would choose this deck more than the original deck. Just even like, so even here, so we have, what is it, the Seven of Swords in the middle there, right? Where for the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, there's like a bunch of yellow behind him and he's sneaking away, and like, so there's a bunch of ways to read this, right? You're either having to be sly to get out of a situation, or someone's trying to pull a fast one on you. But when you look at it from the Earthwoman Tarot, there's a little bit more that I can pull from that, depending on what cards are around it, than I could from the Rider-Waite-Smith. So this really, I guess with this, it depends on how the cards call to you. So like for me right now, I love the Earthwoman Tarot. It's gorgeous. So the Pentacles, phenomenal artwork, right? And I feel like Pentacles are not a scary suit. So it's a nice, easy on the eyes kind of a situation. They're just gorgeous. And some of the ways that they interpret things, like with having to work on skill sets or collaborating with somebody, like with the Three of Pentacles, there's two people working on a loom together. It's just, sometimes that just hits a little bit home better for me than the traditional deck does. I read it a little differently. And even like with the Seven, I think that's the Seven of Pentacles, where there's in the Rider-Waite-Smith, which would be to our right, he's at a garden with this vegetation, plant, bush, whatever it is, and he's kind of admiring the growth or whatever. But when you look at the Earthwoman Tarot, she's nurturing her garden, so it pulls a little bit more of the softness to the reading, if that makes sense to anybody at all. But so that's our suits from the Wands all the way to the Pentacles. And then, so I know I only did the Ace to 10 on these. I'm well aware. So one of the big things that when I was learning tarot, both of my teachers that I went through, they had me do Ace to 10 of each suit, focus on those. And then we focused on the Page, Knight, Queen, and King, just because there's a lot more to them. They can have multiple meanings. They're a little bit more intricate than the Ace of 10. So I put them all separate. I think that was just, I think it's just habit for me that I separate them. I don't know that there's any other reasoning for that. But, oh, I see Donna. Hello, Donna. How are you? From Toronto, Canada. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, and Merry Christmas to you. Thank you so much. So here we have, I think I put okay. So what did I do here? I don't even know what I did here. Okay. So these are the Wands, right? Okay. Yes, this is the Wands. This is from Page, Knight, queen, and king. And you can see like the symbolism is pretty much the same for these. So this is your wands, your cups. I don't know what it is. This deck for me, the cups, I don't know if it's because it's that emotional, like the fluidity, and that goes along with the feminine aspect of this. The cups just really stick out for me. And the swords, right? They're not so scary. They're actually way easier to read, I think. And our pentacles. And it's funny because most times I like to have the color background because of the symbolism. So with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, I do look into the color symbolism when I'm reading. But with this deck, I feel like you don't need it. Like the artwork itself speaks for itself. Like you don't need those strict colored backgrounds for these. So those were our wands, cups, swords, and pentacles. But what about the major arcana, right? The major arcana is just gorgeous. How is everyone liking the artwork on these so far? I feel like this is just, I don't know how to say enough how beautiful the artwork is on this deck. So we're going to jump into the major arcana real quick. We're going to go through from the Fool to the World. And then if anyone has any questions, or I will start reading cards. I know Stacey asked for a card. So if anyone, once I get towards the end of the major arcana, if anyone wants a card reading, we're going to be using this deck tonight for card readings so that you can get a little sample of what they're like in action. So yeah, let's do this. Let's jump into the major arcana real quick. All right, so here we have, this is the Fool all the way through to, I think, the Emperor is where I stopped on this one. But you can see like the symbolism is gorgeous. I love the Magician. For me really speaks because this is like your connection as above, so below. There's just this real amazing artwork connection to that. Like you cannot deny that this is just manifestation in action, right? And then you have your High Priestess. She's just, and I love the moon phases above her. I think it's so perfect. And the Empress she's got the pregnant belly and she's just really vibing herself out. Looks very comfortable in her own skin. And then we have the Emperor, just beautiful artwork. And I love to, like the Hierophant it's not, so for me, the Hierophant is one of those cards. And this is a very personal thing for, like, it's a very me thing for why this is such a weird card for me. Like, I've always struggled with religion, with growing up and everything. And I do not shun anyone from religion. I think if you can find peace and if you can find connection with any kind of religious structure, regardless of, it doesn't matter what it is, if you can find connection with it, you should absolutely run with it because it gives you peace and it gives you meaning and it connects things for you. And I think that's a beautiful thing. For me, it was a struggle for me. So for me, like seeing this, one of the main themes with the Hierophant is religion, but it's also looking for a guru, looking for advice, looking for structure, for keeping with the social norm. Like there's a lot more to this card, but for me, I would just see like the symbolism of religion and it would always stunt me a little bit from like connecting. But with the Earthwoman Tarot, it's just this beautiful, like vibing. I don't know if it's like that goddess energy that comes through with this card, but it's like I can see that connection to like your higher self, to connecting to somebody else who has religious background, or to just looking for guidance beyond yourself or from within. Like it's all right there in that card. Oh, I have to pull this up to read this. Hold on. If you have level grades for decks, I'd say level 1 for ease of use reading, I'd put this at level 2 or 3, more depth and room to get. Yes. So this is one of those, like once you have acclimated yourself to the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, which in this case is on the bottom layer here, like once you're really comfortable with that, this is such an easy transition. This is just like, it is that next, just that little baby step up, right? Because you still have all that symbolism, but now you're taking that symbolism that was very basic and you're kind of like kicking it up a notch because of the artistic quality with the cards. So yeah, I agree with you, Damien. Absolutely. And it's just beautiful symbolism, like the Lover's card. That's such a beautiful card for me. The Chariot, just all of these. And the Hermit. So the Hermit card has it's my favorite go-to. So like with any deck, that's kind of the first card I look for. And if I like the artwork on it, and for this one, it's a very simple artwork with it, but it hits home with all of the aspects of the Hermit. So I really appreciated that. Like it's a very humbling card at times, and I do appreciate that they put that aspect into it. And then you have your Wheel of Fortune. So like if there was one card maybe where I have a little bit of a harder time versus the Rider-Waite-Smith, it would be the Wheel of Fortune, but all the symbolism's still there. It's just to me with like the color all seems to be the same for me. And I think that's what kind of holds me back with that specific card for this deck. Otherwise, it's like everything is still there. There is no lack for symbolism or knowledge within that card. That's just a me personal thing. So take that with a grain of salt. But otherwise, like it's just very beautiful. The Hanged Man in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck is called the Hanged One in this deck, but still holds all of the same symbolism. And I think too, what I like with the Hanged One for this one is that there's that aspect of it seems a little bit gentler, right? It doesn't seem more gentle. I don't know what the proper way to say that is, but when you look at that one, you don't go, oh my gosh, like it's not so stark. And some people freak out because it's, a hanged person, but no, like it still shows that same aspect of it's not very threatening. And a lot of times with this card, it just means it's a time to wait it out. Like there is no action that can be taken. I don't read as much as the Martyr with the Earthwoman Tarot with this one as I do with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And I don't know if that's just like a personal thing for me or not, but Rider-Waite-Smith, I'll tend to read the Hanged One as more of like a martyr situation. And I don't know if that's because like the little halo shine around his head and the figure 4 with his legs, which is, there's more symbolism with that I'm not going to dive into now. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's not as stark or bleak or like in your face with the Earthwoman Tarot, which I do appreciate. And I do love that with also the Death card. Like, so the Death card in a traditional deck, there's like the white horse and the skeleton, and he's like traipsing up to a pope or whatever that is in front of him. It looks a little bit scarier for a lot of people. Don't necessarily appreciate seeing the Death card in their readings. Is it pronounced gentler? Thank you. So yeah, no, with the Death card, when we see with the Earthwoman Tarot, there is a woman she's curled up in the fetal position. There's a tree growing out of her. So this is a beautiful symbolism for this card, like death and rebirth, and that's all symbolized right in there. And a lot of times with the Death card, this really just means letting the things that no longer serve you die so that you can move on to that next level. So this is a card of rebirth. This is a card of transformation. And I feel like that Earthwoman Tarot did such a phenomenal job of just showing like this isn't necessarily the end. It's a new beginning. So you're having to close one chapter to start a new one. There is no definite ending to anything ever, especially with the universe. Like energy doesn't get destroyed. It moves on into different forms. It transforms. And as beautifully shown in the artwork here, where this is just this person being curled up in the fetal position alone. It's like the rebirth process, right? But then there's this amazing tree growing out of her, and there's a sun rising. So it's like the dawning of a new day behind them, and there's sunflowers, and I just really appreciate the symbolism of that card, I think. Then there's Temperance, which is more or less the exact same symbolism, just gorgeously put together. And then we have the Devil card. I love with this one because I kind of feel like it plays with the way people kind of, I'm not saying everybody here, but from my personal experiences growing up, I grew up in an area where like paganism and Wicca was kind of shunned upon, right? And it made me giggle when I saw the Devil card here because it kind of plays into those pagan themes for me. When I look at that, I appreciate this card for what it is. And the Devil card's really not a horrific card. It's usually one of those cards where it's like, okay, maybe check in with your vices. Like, what is it that you tend to overindulge in that will hold you back? Or it's a card that's saying that you are holding yourself back because of X, Y, and Z, because you're letting yourself overindulge. Or depending on the cards around it, it's asking you to let loose a little bit. Maybe you're supposed to indulge a little bit and like let yourself live deliciously for a hot minute. Just really depends on the cards around it. So I do appreciate the double card. Then the Tower, way to make a terrifying card just still look beautiful, right? Because like all of the symbolism is still there. It is still more or less looks like a terrifying card, but beautifully put together with the artwork. I don't know. For years, I pulled the tarot. So like the Tower for me, I've come to just embrace it. It literally is one of those cards where just it asks you to look at your situation, ask yourself, what the fuck am I doing? And to let the things that need to fall away, like let them just fall away, or you're going to have a really hard time because the universe is taking that shit away from you anyway. So the less you fight with this card, the easier your situation becomes. And this really is just, however you want to say it, like your higher self, the universe, God, Mother Nature, whatever you want to call it, is literally guiding your path so that everything that's not meant for you is going to fall away in one form or another. A lot of times when we fight it, it feels more destructive than it should be because we're fighting the flow, right? So this is just wiping the slate clean, bringing you back down to a solid foundation so that you can rebuild and rebuild something beautiful, like after a storm or after a fire, how Mother Nature comes back, right? How all of like the greenery, like everything regrows after some kind of tragedy. Like that's the tarot card in action right there, like the Tower card in action there. It's just beautifully done artwork. I really do appreciate the sun in this one too, because like the sunflowers, the sun, the woman in reflection, just all of even the world. Oh my gosh, the world card for this, gorgeous. I have no complaints about the artwork in this deck. Yeah, I really do. I have learned to appreciate the Tower card. I did a lot of fighting the own flow of my life. So I had a lot of interactions with the Tower card, and I've learned to appreciate it. And when it does come up now, I actually look at things and I'm like, okay, what do I need to let go of? And it's more of a guru card for me than it had been in the past. So I do appreciate when it comes, like you learn to appreciate things the more you interact with them. And that is definitely that situation for me. No, it doesn't look as threatening though, right? No, it really doesn't. All right, guys. So we have some time left here, and I know Stacy did ask for a card, so we're going to pull a card for Stacy for sure here. If anyone else would like a card reading, let me know. We will pull, and we're going to be pulling with the Earth Woman Tarot deck tonight. Bring that camera back up. Hold on. Oop. Let's do it like, where are we at here? Let me find that one where it's a little bit bigger. I appreciate that one a little bit more. All right. So I'm going to put that here until I'm done shuffling. Were these, okay, those were the advertisement cards. Okay, let's put tea in here really quick. Kaylee, yes, thank you, love. All right, I got you starred. You're next. So what do you guys think of the deck? Do you like the artwork? Do you like the way they flow? Do you have any questions about the deck? And if I can't answer them now, I'll figure it out and I'll post it on my Facebook page. All right, this is for Stacy. Oh, you had cards jump. Hold on. We're not going to look at them just yet. They jumped, so we're going to incorporate them. So I don't know if you can hear it. They're a little bit louder with the shuffle just because of the cardstock's a little thicker. I appreciate how they glide though, for sure. Okay, space. We're going to read this closer to how I read my morning tarot pulls. Okay, so you have 5 of Swords. Okay, but like Justice and the Hanged one popped out right, like they jumped right out of the deck for you. I don't know if you can see all of these. So, okay. So if I would read these the way I read, like, okay, so these two we're going to read as an incorporation for the 5 of Swords here. So I would say that with this, either there's a situation or a person who it may seem at this moment that they may have tried to get the best of you, or they're trying, like not necessarily that they've done it, but they're trying to work an angle on you. And here's the thing, like The universe is working it, so they're going to get their just desserts here. And it's not necessarily time to action anything. So for you, kind of just, if there's a situation where there's a shitty person or a shitty situation in the mix that like you have, and I know Stacey, like for you, this, you're easily more in tune with the gut feels and everything. If you have a hunch that something's off, that there's a person that maybe their insights aren't what they seem like, or if they're just being a little too friendly for their own good, this person, universe is working, or if whatever situation is working, let the energy flow to them the way it needs to. Like, you don't have to do any action right now. This is just let the situation play itself out, because they're going to end up hanging themselves. Let me pull one more card for this. And this might not be a person. This might be a situation. Like, this could be something that seems it's going one way. The universe is going to throw a just out of nowhere situation that's going to change everything. It's this one. I need one more to read this. Hold on. And I'll put it on screen then. I just need to, yeah. So whatever this situation is, it may seem like it's not going the way you want it to. I don't know if this is going to make sense. But with the Five of Pentacles, it is like literally just around the corner as a brand new day. And your intuition, the High Priestess, she's also about mystery too. And she's also about, for me, she's about universe too. So this plays into this for me, right? These two play in together. These two play in together. And your whole role in this is just to like, let shit play out. It's going to show itself. Like, true colors are going to show themselves, if that makes sense at all. So I don't know what's going on, but your intuition is going to be spiked up. You're going to know exactly what's going on, and you're not really going to have to lift a finger for the situation to dissolve itself, because it's going to stumble and fall on itself before it can even do anything destructive, if that makes any kind of sense. So hopefully, I don't know, we'll see. That's what I'm getting from that card reading. I see Rachel. Hello, Rachel. Oh, pop that back up again. The case idea for protecting cards. Yes, absolutely. The deck is gorgeous, right? It really is. Okay, so we have Stacey's card pulled. Kaylee, we're going to read some cards for you, my love. Okay. Bear with me here, guys. I hope that makes some kind of sense to you. And you're welcome. All right, this is for Kaylee. So I would highly recommend this deck for somebody who they've started out, they're comfortable enough with what they're doing, and they're trying to venture off into new decks. I would absolutely recommend this deck, because I feel like there is an ease in reading these. Like, you wouldn't have to struggle. You wouldn't have to reach for the guidebook quite so much as you would for some other decks where the artwork really doesn't have anything to do to pertain with the symbolism or with the card itself. Okay. Well, that's interesting. You pulled the same. Hold on. We're going to pull the other two cards so I can read this properly. We got those two. So let's read those two. So you have Nine of Cups, and you have, there's a lot of cups with this. Okay. So you have your Nine of Cups. So do you feel, and let this sit with you, because this might not be something that comes to you right away. Is there a situation where you feel like you have been slighted, or that somebody has tried to gain on their own lives at your expense, if that makes sense at all? Like, in what situation has somebody either belittled you or stepped on your situation in order to rise themselves, or like to gain some sort of egotistic victory? Like, it's going to be so shallow. Whatever happened is going to be so shallow on the other person's part. Or do you have a situation where you feel deflated? Like, this might not have somebody else involved. It might just be you feel deflated. Here's the thing. Whatever's going on in your life right now, The Nine of Cups is one of those cards of everything you need. Literally everything that you need is in front of you right now. And you might not be able to see it because of the situation, because of the feelings that are like right in front of you that are fire hot right now. But if you take that moment, so like with the Eight of Cups, your Eight of Cups is moving on to different things or taking that moment to go inside. So maybe take that moment, take a deep breath, cut yourself off from whatever situation might be feeling like BS right now, because you got some really good energy. Like that Nine of Cups is like literally like abundance tenfold, right? Like you literally have everything right in front of you. All of your wishes can come true. The Eight of Cups is walking away, cutting ties, self-reflection. Let me pull another card for this because I just feel like on an energetic level, you're either through like intuition or through feelings or like there's, oh, hello, you don't. Okay. I'll pull another one to go with that. Yeah. So Knight of Wands, which is what you just pulled here. I'll pull that right there. Knight of Wands. He is a knight of passion. He is a knight that goes full force for what he wants. Go for your passions. I would say this. So then the Eight of Cups for me would be walk away from what's not serving you. Don't even consider. Yeah. You have the world. You have the world, Kaylee. Do what you feel is right for you. Cut ties to what's holding you back. Follow your passion. Really just consider the fact that like there's a support there, whether that be energetic, friends, family, wherever you feel support coming in for you. Lean on that if there's a situation that you're not jiving with right now, and whatever you need to do to cut the ties to the things that aren't serving you, and then take that minute to reflect. Like, what do I actually want? What do I want for me? Let that passion drive you because you have a lot going on for you right now. And like, the world's the limit. So this is really just a shifting of possibly environment, but definitely a shifting of like the internal, like how you look at things, how you talk to yourself, how you reflect what you want in life. This is just very much doing the shifts for manifestation because it's all right there for you already. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but hopefully that does. All right. This Marie, what is? Okay, so I need a reading that suggests I'm going to win the Mega Millions. Me too. Me too. If you're cool with a regular card reading, just to see where you're going for the holidays, I will totally pull that for you. We have a couple minutes here. What's that? I don't think that would make you happy with me on the other hand. Okay, good. I'm glad that makes sense to you. Oh, thank you so much, everybody. So, yeah, unless there's anyone who needs a quick reading here. Does anyone have any major plans for the holiday or anything going on, even like around the holidays that you're excited about? We have a couple minutes here. Let me know. Anyone buy any new decks lately? That would be fun as well. Otherwise, if you guys are looking for something. Oh, okay, perfect. Let's pull some cards. Absolutely. Patrick, I see you. We'll pull for you too. I think I am the last show tonight. So if we go a little over, we go a little over. Okay, this is for Marie. While I'm shuffling, I don't know why this came to me, but does anyone have any tricks for getting themselves into the holiday spirit when they know that they're already not? Because I know that was something I had to do this year. It's just like a weird little thing that just popped into my head. So if you have any things that you do to get yourself in the right mindset, throw them on the side because I might not be the only one that has that situation. Okay, so we have Four of Swords. So Four of Swords. And the one thing I really appreciate about this is, so for me, Four of Swords is always about, right? I know. So for me, Four of Swords has always been a card of like resting and being able to take that time to contemplate and knowing that you're in a safe place. And I feel like this does a really good job of, there's somebody hanging out in a hammock, there's little moths, it's just the moon phases. It's a gorgeous card and it doesn't look threatening. And I appreciate that so much. And we're going to pull 2 other cards so that I can read that properly. Okay, both of these want to come out. Okay, so we have the Emperor and the Fool. So this could be about, and hear me out here, and if you see something completely different, I don't know if you can see these properly. Here, we'll do this so you can see them properly. So what I'm seeing here is this is time for you to take time for you. I feel like there's a lot that you do to try to protect everybody else in your, like everybody else around you. You just want them to be safe. You want them to be nurtured. You want them to just, you want things to just be in this good state. And with the Emperor is amazing for making sure that, you know, that his people are well taken care of. He is ready to fight at a minute's notice. Like if someone would threaten his people, boom, he's all over it, right? Like you don't mess with him. And there is no trying to pull a fast one on him because he's very stern with that. Like he doesn't deal well with that. But he's also like, he's fair, right? So what I see with this is like having that moment of you need to take the time for yourself here. Like you're always very protective, very just wanting to make sure that everything in your kingdom is well taken care of. And I don't know if this resonates or makes sense. Honestly, we don't have that rapport that I could say, oh, I know this or that about you. I don't, but this is what I'm seeing. So that you need to take the time for you as well. Like you're protecting and you're wanting everyone to be safe. Needs to include yourself as well. And this may flow into you just needing to like take a leap of faith on yourself with like, if there's something crazy, like if there was a trip that you wanted to do or something, like take that trip. If there was a class or something that you want to take it. Like this is that moment to be, I don't know if frivolous is the right word, but like just do something random for yourself because you want to do it for you because you deserve that. Yeah. Okay. All right. To be a protector and to nurture. Okay. For sure. Like this is just, but you know, like this is telling you like include yourself in that. Like let yourself have that moment of do a little new adventure for yourself here. Let me pull one more card for this. But I feel like you might not always include yourself. Okay. And things are good, right? So King of Pentacles, you have, so this could even be the stability of your other half, right? The situation where you aren't the only person that is do it, bro. You don't have to do all of this alone. You have an amazing other half where there's stability there, if this makes sense at all, that you can say to your partner in life that like, hey, you know, I feel like I need to do this. They would nurture that in a heartbeat. They would be like, you need to go and make sure that you're a part of your own nurturing. So just know that you have the support system that you need to go ahead and do what you want to do for yourself. Like include yourself in your situation, if that makes sense. Oh, Big Daddy, and I know he's not been feeling very well. All right, was there anyone else before we say goodnight tonight? Was there any? Oh wait, we have Patrick Doyle wanted a card. Hold on. Wait. Oh, hold on. We will get you this time, Patrick, for sure. Yeah, no, you have an amazing partner in crime there. You do. All right, Patrick, we are going to do your card reading. And then if nobody else has anything, we will call this night. Okay, Patrick, here we go. That jumped. Oh, that jumped so nice, too. It's so weird. I mean, not weird, right? Universe does what it needs to do. Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so Wheel of Fortune is all about, we are going to need another card for me to determine this one. Hold on. Okay, so we have Queen of Pentacles. Yep, I kept cutting right there. Okay, so Wheel of Fortune is you literally have like every aspect of life. Like there's this whole learning cycle, right? There's a lot of wisdom that comes with the Wheel of Fortune. There's also a lot of depending on what end of the cycle you're on, it's either an uptick or a downtick. But I feel like this is uptick for you. Here's why I'm saying this, because Queen of Pentacles is a very prosperous, very fertile, like the rabbit for me right there in the lush, like this lush field of wildflowers. This woman is just very like, she's kicked back, she's hanging out with her pentacle. So you have this amazing groundwork of fertility, having like no worries. You're able to sit back, relax, take in your environment, take in the energy that's coming in around you, and use that to be a catalyst for an uptake on the Wheel of Fortune, right? Like, so this is a great time to know that you can expand a little bit. Any thirst for knowledge that you have, this is an amazing time to dig in for that right there. Let me pull one more card. Yeah, dog is. You know what? Death card for you would not be what you think it is. Okay. Have you felt a change in card energy with the winter solstice? If I can say the word right. Coming New Year, or would you say it's been more stable? So I feel like for me, Leo was singing Christmas carols. So for me, I feel like it's been a little bit easier for me to connect. I don't know if that's just like from personal situation or what, but I think since the winter solstice, like this morning was so much easier for me. Page of Swords. So this goes right way. So Patrick, to get back to you, and then I'll go back to my other mindset here. You're in this beautiful, like, there's this beautiful energy of just being able to learn something new, to change your mindset to like new thought processes. So give yourself that moment to just have that. You can kick back with the things that you want to kick back with. and just, this is your moment. So let yourself shine, you know? So if that makes any sense though, like this is your moment to like dig into those things where you like just been skirting on the surface of with knowledge and just wanting to know more on things. So this is a good time for you. You're on an uptick. So go with it. Let your energy flow. But no, I feel like with winter solstice, with the whole cycle of rebirth and everything, I feel like there's a shifting of energy. Right? Sometimes. But and happy holidays to you. Hopefully like whatever you celebrate this time of year, have an amazing time with it. Hopefully you have the friends and the always, bro, always. Just an amazing time. So thank you everybody for tuning in, and I hope that you have the most amazing holidays. And I want to bring this up so I can read it really quick. Just curious, is there a reason you don't read the reversals? So yeah, no, for me, I don't, because I feel like first and foremost, when I was taught, the person that I learned from first, they didn't believe in reading reversals. So that's how I originally learned, was not reading reversals. And they had explained it to me that there literally is every aspect of the card is always there. It's how you read the cards around you. And I feel like for me, not reading the reversals opened up being able to like read the cards as a story. So I was very anxious when I first started. Like I had to know the definitions, like it had to be X, Y, and Z, had to be very stern, right? Not so much the case. So when I realized I don't have to worry about the direction of the cards, I could look at all the cards and like build the story. So everything with tarot really is, you're building a story from what you see. You literally, and there's a game with tarot. It's like not reading for people. It's just a game. Like you pull cards and like you make up a storyline, or it's like whoever pulls the cards, you make up the storyline for them. And it's all part of the practice. Is like your intuition will pull you where you need to go. The more relaxed you are, the easier it is for the information to flow. tension is nobody's friend, and the universe is just the same. Like if it flows, it flows. So for me, not reading the reversals is just it's more of like first and foremost, I was taught that way, but then it's also an anxiety thing for me. But then I've learned, like, depending on the cards around it, depending on how the story flows, and then the big thing for me is like when I have somebody that I'm face to face with reading, it's easier because like I can ask the questions that I need to determine, okay, like what part of this card am I actually pulling? Or I'll get little, like, it makes me tap into my intuition a little bit more. Like it makes me ask myself, why am I thinking X, Y, and Z with this card when this card's next to it and that card's next to it? And it becomes a little bit more of an in-depth process, but one where I'm more comfortable with it. So that's definitely the reasoning behind not reading reversals for me. Also too, because when I hand the deck to somebody or when someone picks up the deck, depends on how they pick it up. Like the entire deck might be reversed and all they're doing is pulling reversals just simply because of how they picked it up. And I just, for some reason, I don't feel like that's a universal thing. I just feel like that's just I know there's no such thing as coincidences, but like for me, it's just like, it really just like how you hand it off, how they shuffle it. It doesn't make sense to me to read reversals, but for other people, if they do, I'm not knocking it. Like everyone has their own process, but I've read about reversals. So oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And like, I know a lot of people who very, very successful readers who definitely hold true to the reversals thing. It just depends on like what makes sense to you, you know? Oh, I hope you have an amazing Christmas and happy holidays. Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. Seriously. Okay, good. Thank you. Everyone, thank you for tuning in tonight. I hope that all of you have an amazing holidays and that, if this is a time that's hard for you, that you find somebody to reach out to or find some reason for gratitude or, just throw something out, especially at Get Haunted Network. If you are feeling alone this time, because this is a hard time of year, I'm one of them. This is a really hard time of the year for me too. So like if you're feeling alone or if you're feeling like not as jolly as you think you should be, just throw a hey, just throw some form of something out into the Get Haunted Network. Also, there's so many people out there who are willing to jump in and say hello and to keep you company. You are not alone this time of year, even if you feel like it. Just please, like, especially if you feel like you just need to talk to someone, throw a line out into the Get Haunted Network, or, if you need a little bit more personal, if you want a card reading, just throw a message out to me. I'll try to do what I can. Definitely not licensed therapist, nothing like that. But if you just need to, someone a shoulder to cry on, someone to listen, I can do that. So have an amazing holiday. Hopefully all of you find a reason to be grateful, to be cheerful, to find a reason to get yourselves into the spirit of whatever the spirit is for you. Have an amazing holiday. I love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.